Yeah, and I would imagine, of course, different skill level and different power and different control uh, aspects. So I guess one of the things I've noticed as a clinical psychologist is people who under this umbrella tend to have a very low tolerance for maybe boredom. So they're constantly seeking out stimulation. And that could come in the form of various risk taking. So maybe, if they're married in a family and they're leading this double life, that it's, a number of affairs or relationships with women, or it's taking risks in business or career. It is kind of working on the edges as a way of getting stimulated, emotionally stimulated in life, because there's a very low tolerance for boredom. And since they lack those feelings of empathy and then this decreased sensation for fear, that they're able to do things and act in ways that most people would be afraid to do. Like they cheat on their spouse because they're afraid to lose their marriage, or they don't commit this degree of fraud or these uh, nefarious business relationships because they're afraid of violating the law. So, but they're getting something. They're seeking out this certain stimulation from it. What do you believe is that emotional experience that they're seeking out?
Well, first of all, yes, it does say that in some of the academic literature. I don't think it's correct about boredom, right? As I've said before, and it's not about risk taking. As I've said before, they are motivated very differently to us. They're like different creatures. So they have no boundaries around sexuality at all. It could be the friend's kids. It could be the dog. It could be, it shows up in a whole lot of different ways. They know they shouldn't be, if they are in a relationship, they're in a relationship often because they don't experience love. They're in a relationship to hide their nefarious behaviours. So they like to exploit. They like to do all this humiliation and demeaning and all this sort of stuff. They do like to push boundaries, any sort of boundaries. They're fascinated by it. So remember, it's not about joy or affinity or love. They're interested in exploring all this stuff, right? And seeing how far they can push people. And so they're doing all this stuff on the side. All dark personalities have a double life. And so often they use church or marriage as just a part of their facade, and they play it so well that if they ever do get caught out, their partner or whoever or their team at work or whatever will just stick up for them, even though they're incredibly guilty of breaking laws or agreements or codes or regulations. They get a huge amount of support because of that. But yeah, I don't think it's really about risk or about because they don't like risk really, because they don't want to be exposed. But some of them are just, yeah, the ones with lower impulse control capability and lower intelligence and maybe drug taking, it might look like risk taking because they make poor decisions.